Okay.
Now, one good tip, when you cut a substance like this or paneling, you always want to dip the saw into the material. You just don't want to start with the guard down. So always pick the little lever up, just the guard lever. You never want to operate the saw without it. And push the trigger and lean into the line. That way you get a nice accurate cut. Okay, so that was the hardest part of the job, which is really easy. Next part, we're just going to be ripping out this material. In this case, it's just a stucco base, and look how easy this stuff comes out. And that was the only reason we didn't go real deep, because we didn't want to cut the wood. So a lot of this is fastened to this bracket right here, or actually wood that's in there. Again, we just followed the base of the brick line. So once we rip all of this out, yeah, just make sure you got gloves on, because ripping this material out, it will slice you up. It's got sharp, jagged edges on it, and that's what holds the stucco bond, the adhesive to it, and that's what makes it adhere to the actual wall. So do not try to put out any type of glove protection. Now you can pretty much just take your hammer and slowly back it out, because remember, this is fastened with nails. And hopefully it comes out in one piece. If not, let's hope 90% of it. Oh, good. Now again, whoever closed this window in, this is the way they decided to do it, which I don't particularly like the way they did it, because it makes it that much more difficult for the person to install a new one. Now remember, this edge of the window all the way around, because this is the brick, this will have caps on it, and it's going to have a decorative look on it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is, this ledge that sits in here, which used to hold all the soaps and whatnot, we're going to actually remove this, because once we place the window in, or we even put the beams that holds the window, it's going to be quite difficult to try to get this out. So it's best just to get it while we're out in the open. So we're just going to start removing all the towel. And on the inside, what we did is we placed some paper bags so dust won't roll into the house. And it pretty much can all just come off pretty easy. The shelf. Okay, so we've got to this point. We've knocked out all original tray and the ceramic tile that was in there that used to hold all the shampoos and whatnot. So now all you see is sheetrock, which is the back of, and this is the tile that's on the inside, all you see around. So once we frame it, we can pull this portion out from the inside without hurting or damaging the window. So now, before we do any type of framing in this section, we want to make sure that we get all caulking and everything flat as far as surface goes. So anything that's stuck to the edges, you want to make sure you get that product off, because if you got a 2x4 that's going in place, it might create a hump and cause something to become unlevel. So just get your scraper. You can get a 5-in-1 tool and just scrape off all the caulk, because this is where 2x4s are going to go. And you just want to kind of clean everything up. There's a piece over here. And you got to use a little elbow grease. You want to get it all out. And you can see where the window actually used to sit. This is where the original window frame was. And whoever put it in, as far as this temporary piece, didn't take all the excess caulking. Okay, now that we got all that done on that portion of the window, before we install the window, we want to know what kind of window we're going to install. So in this case, this is a regular upright window that we purchased from the Home Depot. And apparently it was an order, and somebody didn't like the size or how it was done, so they brought it back. So needless to say, we got a huge discount on it. So this window regularly retailed for like $120, and we got it for like $45. So what we're going to do with this window, rather than having it in the upright position, we are going to use this application on a sideways mount, which you can do that. Needless to say, you can make anything work. It doesn't matter how or what the purpose of it is. It's just as long as we get it in there and we make it function. So in this case, it's going to sit on the inside sideways. And again, this is just a bathroom window. And this is one of those units that have the pull-out on it. So once you, let's see if I can get it done, you can open up the window like that. So on the inside, this is what we were trying to achieve, so we can clean the window from the inside. And again, if you shop around enough, you can probably find deals like this. Again, before we do any cuts, we want to make an overall measurement of the rough opening is what you want. So to achieve this, being that this is the inside of the window, you want to get it to where it clears just 1/4 of an inch, no less than 1/8, because if it's too tight, the window will not fit in. So from bottom to top, we have 28 inches. So roughly we want to go 28 1/4 will do just right. That allows us 1/8 of an inch on each side. That's minimum. Side to top in this case, because the window is going to be mounted in sideways, we have a measurement of 19 1/4. So we want to go 19 1/2 rough open, no more than 19 3/4. And once we make the cuts, the window will drop in from outside in, and then we'll fasten it down and put the plates in. In this case, it'll be 1/4 inch plywood. So give me a few moments and we'll get back. To do all your cuts for your 2x4s, you can either use a handsaw. In this case, it's a rigid. I prefer the ones with the motors on the right-hand side. Or we can use just a regular miter box saw or miter saw. This will create all your angles. This is what we're going to use in this application today. And cutting all little 2x4s, I just find it easier just to use this saw versus a skill saw. Alright, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 cuts that we have to make to frame this window in. We're going to have 2 2x4s that go from end to end, and then we'll have 2 2x4s that go from top to bottom, and then we're going to have 2 2x4s that actually box it in. So one here and one here. So the first measurement, we want to take the side by side, and that's going to be 37 5/8. We got 37 5/8, so that shows that our cut was accurate and we made a nice plumb line.